Part 2. In this part of Module 4, we will explore the idea of generating motivation and excitement for reading. To learn more about why it is important to encourage students to read, let's look at the profiles of two students. The first student, James, on the right, reads 20 minutes per night, 5 times a week. As you can see, just 20 minutes of reading quickly adds up over the course of weeks and months. Now let's look at the student on the left, Travis. Travis reads only 4 minutes per night and sometimes does not read at all. Travis has spent significantly less time practicing and building reading skills. Now, think about these questions. Which students would you expect to read better, write better, have a better vocabulary? Which student would you expect to be more successful in school and in life? And finally, how do you think each student will feel about himself as a learner? After looking at the importance of time spent reading in the last slide, as educators, we need to ask how we can develop excitement and motivation for reading. We want students to spend 20 minutes per night reading because we know it allows them to improve their reading, writing, and vocabulary. So how can we get them motivated? First, we have to help students appreciate the pleasures of reading. We all know what it's like to get lost in a good book, whether it's the excitement of a mystery novel, the feeling of being transported hundreds of years into historical fiction, or on a sci-fi adventure. When we read things that are engaging, we are hooked. Helping students find books based on their own interests is a key factor in motivating them to read. Next, we want students to understand that reading books can be a social experience, something they can share with others. By reading the same books as peers, taking turns reading aloud, or even just recommending a book to a friend, it is important that students understand reading is not necessarily just an individual activity. Another important point is that we read for a variety of purposes. While we certainly read for entertainment, students also need to understand that sometimes we read in order to gather new information or learn more about a certain topic. Another way to help students get motivated to read is by getting high-quality books into their hands. Where can students go to find good books? Local libraries are excellent resources. Students are able to get library cards and check out books for free. Local librarians are a great resource as well. If students tell the librarian about their interests, librarians can help match them to books that are high interest. School libraries are also great resources. Used book sales are another great place to find affordable books. Often, books are very gently used, but cost significantly less than buying them brand new from a bookstore. The Philadelphia Free Public Library allows Pennsylvania residents to obtain a free library card, regardless of whether or not they live in the Philadelphia area. They have an extensive online library available to all cardholders, so students who enjoy reading books digitally can quickly and easily access thousands of books. The library has apps for smartphones and tablets. Readingrockets.org is another great resource. The website has a book search, reading lists, as well as author interviews and so much more. This website is linked in the resources tab of this module. Another way to generate excitement for reading is to model reading aloud for students. The graphic on this slide shows various ways adults can read aloud. Adults and children can take turns reading continuous passages of a book. So for example, the adult reads page 1, the student reads page 2, the adult reads page 3, and so on. Another option is that the student and the adult read the same passage at the same time. This helps model things like fluency and prosody. A third way is for the adult to read the passage first and then have the student repeat the same passage second. This is the end of part 2. Be sure to complete the questions in part 2 before moving on to part 3.